From the pages of Wrestling Ringside, November 1994, step back into the wild world of wrestling as we take a deep dive into the action-packed November 1994 issue of Wrestling Ringside. This issue is a time capsule of chaos, featuring legendary battles, shocking betrayals, and larger-than-life personalities. We're covering every segment, every rivalry, and even the ads that made the magazine stand out. So lace up your boots and let's hit the ring. The cover story: wrestling's big matches. Right from the cover, Wrestling Ringside hypes some of the most explosive matchups in the business. We've got a three-way war featuring Cactus Jack, Sabu, and Jerry the King Lawler. Meanwhile, Razor Ramon takes on Diesel, and Lex Luger squares off with Crush in a battle of powerhouse athletes. The magazine promises all the dirt on these feuds, and it delivers in spectacular fashion. WWF versus WCW, the ultimate war for wrestling dominance. This issue dives into the WWF versus WCW rivalry, with the spotlight firmly placed on Hulk Hogan's jump to World Championship Wrestling. His highly anticipated pay-per-view showdown against Ric Flair is discussed in depth, with speculation about whether WCW can surpass the WWF. Will Hogan's star power be enough to shift the balance? Wrestling Ringside thinks so. To add fuel to the fire, the magazine teases major WCW signings, including the impending arrivals of Mr. Perfect and Road Warrior Hawk. Could WCW finally overtake Vince McMahon's empire? The battle lines have been drawn. Piper's Pit versus King's Court, a battle of wrestling talk shows. A major rumor circulating in this issue is the return of Rowdy Roddy Piper's Pit to WWF television. If true, this spells disaster for Jerry the King Lawler, whose King's Court segment has been running strong. Will Lawler be forced off the throne, or will Piper prove he still has the best mic skills in the game? The magazine speculates that Piper's return could inject fresh energy into the WWF, while also potentially setting up a blockbuster feud between these two legends. Stay tuned. The $1 Million Takeover, Ted DiBiase's expanding empire. Wrestling Ringside dedicates an entire feature to Ted DiBiase's ruthless acquisitions. The $1 Million Man has bought out legendary wrestlers like Nikolai Volkov, Bam Bam Bigelow, and even claims to control The Undertaker. But wait, is DiBiase's Undertaker the real deal? Paul Bearer isn't convinced, and he's on a mission to reclaim his macabre monster. The magazine leaves us hanging with the intriguing question: who is the real Undertaker? The answer may shake the WWF to its core. Clash of the Champions recap: WCW's big night. One of the biggest WCW events of the year, Clash of the Champions, saw Ric Flair unify the WCW World and International Championships by defeating Sting. But the real shocker was after the match, sensuous Sherri turned on Sting and aligned herself with Flair. Other key results: Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan retained the WCW tag titles against the Nasty Boys. Lord Steven Regal won back the WCW TV title by cheating to beat Larry Zbyszko. Johnny B. Bad shocked the world by winning the U.S. Heavyweight Championship from stunning Steve Austin. And just when it seemed like Flair and Sherri had destroyed Sting, out came Hulk Hogan to make the save. Hogan vs. Flair was now officially the biggest feud in wrestling. WWF's King of the Ring 1994, The Rise of Owen Hart. A retrospective on the King of the Ring tournament reveals how Owen Hart cemented his place in history. Dubbed the King of Hearts, Owen's brutal aggression and newfound alliance with Jim the Anvil Neidhart proved that he was no longer living in Bret Hart's shadow. With Neidhart by his side, Owen set his sights on the WWF Championship. Could he do what his brother Bret did and claim the gold? The magazine is betting that Owen's reign of terror has only just begun. Cactus Jack vs. Sabu, hardcore wrestling at its best. Wrestling Ringside highlights one of the most dangerous matches in recent history: the violent war between Cactus Jack and Sabu. Both men are known for taking extreme risks, and this bout was no different. With tables breaking, chairs flying, and bodies crashing, this hardcore war proved why ECW was quickly becoming the most exciting promotion in wrestling. The Funks reunite in ECW. Speaking of ECW, the magazine gives us exclusive details about the reunion of Terry and Dory Funk Jr., one of wrestling's most legendary brother duos. They took on ECW Tag Team Champions Public Enemy in what can only be described as a brutal war. This no-holds-barred contest saw the Funks prove that, even after decades in the ring, they could still dish out and take punishment like the best of them. The ECW faithful were left stunned, and there are rumors of a future tag team title rematch. Razor Ramon vs. Diesel, Intercontinental title controversy. The feud between Razor Ramon and Diesel heated up when Razor clobbered Diesel with the title belt, reclaiming his Intercontinental Championship. However, WWF officials forced Razor to return the belt, leading to even more tension between these two superstars. Could this feud explode into a full-scale war? Will Shawn Michaels' alliance with Diesel prove to be the ultimate game-changer? Ads and wrestling merch madness. This issue was jam-packed with classic wrestling advertisements including Heavenly Bodies gear. Fans could order autographed photos, t-shirts, and even wrestling jackets featuring Jim Cornette's infamous tag team. Women's wrestling VHS tapes. For those who couldn't get enough of the LPWA, there were tapes available of classic matches featuring stars like Terry Power, Reggie Bennett, and Malia Hosaka. The Pro Wrestling Hotline. For just $2 per call, you could get the hottest wrestling gossip, rumors, and behind-the-scenes scoops before the internet made it easy. Final bell. A wild time in wrestling. The November 1994 issue of Wrestling Ringside was a roller coaster ride through the world of wrestling. Between Hulk Hogan's WCW takeover, the rise of Owen Hart, the chaos in ECW, and the brewing storm between Razor Ramon and Diesel, this was an exciting time to be a wrestling fan. One thing is for sure, the action never stops. So whether you're a lifelong fan or a new recruit, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more wrestling nostalgia.